Some games, no matter how brief a time you play them for, will stick with you and you will spend years and years searching for that same enjoyment. For me, Raiden DX is one such game. When I was growing up, we moved from Wagga Wagga to Tumut. Tumut was a bit too small to have anything as extravagant as a local arcade like Wagga had. What we had there instead was the local Video Easy and its constantly cycling collection of 6 or 7 arcade games. In this building, I experienced so many great games for the first time, including Daytona USA, Galaxy Force 2, and a whole bunch of SNK games because they had a Neo Geo. But the one I probably sunk the most money into was Raiden DX. On the surface of it, Raiden DX is a fairly simple shooter, but like all good shooters, it knows how to make the most of relatively simple mechanics. And that was all it took to have me hooked. It was probably not the first shooter I'd ever played, but it's one of the first I can remember. Certainly the first I can remember playing on an arcade machine, and it's remained with me ever since. Another thing that's remained with me ever since is pronouncing the name as Raiden. Apparently this is incorrect, as I've recently learned, but it's all anyone ever seemed to do when I was younger. Oh well, now I'm on the internet, I guess I better get it right. The mechanics of Raiden are very simple. You fly up the screen, and you shoot. Precisely why this game spoke to me so much more than any other one at the time, I couldn't tell you. But it might be the attention to detail. Like when you shoot somebody down and the trees beneath them catch fire. Or it could be the series' iconic plasma beam or toothpaste laser as it's also known. Or it could simply be the groovy music. At any rate, I spent years and years searching for another Raiden DX arcade machine after we left Tumut. For such a popular game, they were surprisingly hard to find. And finally, relief came in 2009 when I picked up a bootleg copy of the PlayStation port in an op shop on Chapel Street of all places. Let me tell you, checking the CDs in op shops pays off. I got it home, plugged it in, and I was transported back in time to my youth. The game features 3 modes: Novice, Expert, and Training. Novice is, as I have since learnt, fundamentally Raiden 2, although I haven't played that game as thoroughly as I would like to verify this. While Expert offers a remixed version of many Raiden 2 elements with new levels tacked onto the end. I love games and I love playing them, but I would have to say I'm not very good at them, so I've never seen the Expert mode through to the end. With free play mode activated on the PlayStation version, I know it's only a matter of time, but like many arcade games, this is a title that's best in short bursts, so I've never admittedly sat it out that far. This is a game that I love to come back to every now and then to strive to get just a little bit further, to do just a little bit better at. And this brings us to the training mode. The training mode is actually something of a misnomer because it's definitely not a training difficulty. No, it's simply one whacking great long level that you have 1 credit to finish. In the PlayStation port you can jack up the number of lives, but for the pure arcade experience leave it at the more traditional 3 and see how far you can get. This is my favourite mode in the game and the one I come back to the most. It's less about getting to the end and more about seeing how well you can do along the way, and really I love it for that. The PlayStation port is simply arcade perfect, with the exception of the music, which is actually from a whole different game, but it's not at all inappropriate. The gameplay is smooth as silk, something that unfortunately doesn't come across very well in this video, still working on that. And the movement is fast and furious even when the screen gets busy, and boy does it get busy. The PSX port also comes loaded up with options to change everything from the difficulty to the positioning of the game's various status bars. It even has the mercy to offer a rapid fire button, as repeatedly hammering buttons on a PlayStation controller is definitely not the best feeling in the world. The arcade version is currently unemulated, but the PSX version is more than a match for it. Various copies of the game are currently available on eBay starting at about $50 Australian plus shipping. Is it worth it? Raiden DX may appear to be completely unremarkable, but scratch the surface and you'll find a game that is not simply the best in its series, but for me it remains one of the best in its entire genre. Don't expect anything more than what it is and you can have a fantastic time. Other Raiden games worth pursuing include the Raiden Legacy Collection, which you can find on iOS, and Good Old Games for Windows PC. Be sure to check it out, it's got the underrated Raiden fighters. If you're after a console experience, Raiden Project on the PlayStation is the pick of them, although we'll be sure to look at the various Raiden Trad conversions to PC Engine, Sega Mega Drive, and Super Nintendo in a later episode. Until then, keep playing it loud.